So, how has life been? Life in general, parenting, marriage, whatever. Like, how has life been? And anybody can start.
Let me put that down. Well, life for me has been lifing, honestly. As you all know, we transitioned from Virginia to Texas last June. So we've been here for about 7 months. So navigating the unknown, getting accustomed to being in a different place, trying to parent and manage, side hustles and maintain my marriage, and everything has just been challenging at times, but I've been managing. I've been managing.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Move away. It's okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Coach K.
For me, it's been elevating and relaxing, and
Mm.
um, I've
Blessing.
been learning a whole lot this last year, a whole lot about myself, but a whole lot.
Oh,
So
yeah.
it's been really good for me. I actually took a break from working,
Mm.
just so I can get some more me time and
That's
actually
good.
Mm,
come into more alignment who I am, and and more time with my
mm,
husband and learning from him and my kids, and so it's been really good for me.
Mm.
Really good.
mhm.
Excited.
Oh, that is nice. I know that's right. Me time.
I think we all need that. I love
Yeah.
that.
Definitely.
I think
Definitely.
all women and men need that time to say, you know
Yeah.
what, I'm taking a break. I'm not going to be
Mhm.
around a bunch of people. I just want to be by myself a little bit with my family. Because at the same time, it's like you got all these energies around you, and you're sitting there trying to figure yourself out. You can't figure yourself out. You got everybody around you in your ear and these chaotic energies and stuff. So I couldn't do it. I had to take a time.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah. Yeah.
I needed a
Cut it
break.
out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My
Yeah. Yeah.
husband
Yeah.
said, okay. I said, okay. And that was it. He told me I can
Yeah.
do
I feel you.
I love
I
that.
feel you on that. That's a blessing.
right.
I feel you on that. Okay. All right, Alicia.
Um, Life has been, like Martha said, it's lifing.
Mhm.
It's been doing its thing. It's been a war zone, a battlefield.
Mm.
Hmm.
It's
Yeah.
been
Okay. So it seems like everybody has a lot going on, and it seems like everybody is trying to balance it all and trying to figure out time, which Coach K, like, that is amazing that you are finding time to, like,
Absolutely.
you know what I'm saying, like, take spot. But you've always been like that. Like, you're like, look, it's me, I need this time, like, I need, like,
Yep.
how are you even finding the time to find time to do that?
I find
Like, what?
the time. I make that time. That's just that. Like I have to have that time, because if you don't have that time, then how you gonna balance everything out? So you got to take care of
Yeah.
yourself to balance everything out. So I make the time to balance it out. So
Right. So
by
when you so what are you doing with yourself? Like, you just, is it just like you just have time where you, like, a bubble bath type time you talking about, or like what type of time are you talking about for me time?
well, actually I do a lot of things to take that time. I garden.
Okay.
I
Okay.
go to the gym.
Okay.
I bake. Whatever it is that I like to do, I just do
Mhm.
it, and then I put
Mhm.
my focus on it. I read books a lot now, so I'm reading or listening to Audible. So that's one of my favorite things to do now. So,
Mhm.
Mm.
but it's anything that I like to do that I enjoy doing, I just do it. If I want to go to
Mhm.
the beach, I go to the beach. I make the time.
Mm.
To go to the
And you
beach.
don't take your kids to the beach?
Yeah, I take my kids, my girls, me and my girls. We always be that.
Oh.
Yeah, like we
I was gonna
always.
say, dang, you going to the beach by yourself? Look, Martha, remember we used to take them trips. All
Right, right.
15 of us. We
Like, look,
All 10 of them.
be honest with you,
right.
I will be doing that soon. I'm gonna take a whole spa day to myself. I'm gonna try to, but I'm gonna see
Mhm.
how things go. I gotta talk to the husband first
Mhm.
before I make
Right.
any plans like that. But at the end of the day, I am going to try to take that beach trip to by myself. Just a day to yourself. I think anybody, man or woman, need that day to themselves. If it's a
Yeah.
day, 2 days, anything, you need a day to yourself to say, you know what, I just want to what's smart and say woosah, woosah for a moment.
Right. 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 Big facts.
It filter everything out. So you have to do that. So if anything that you like to do, like I said, I like garden. I start potting because I don't want to put it in the ground yet. So I start potting all my vegetables. That's a big old thing of
Mhm.
collard greens now. So I'm like really excited about that. I've been cutting them up and eating them up. So anything you like to
Mm.
do for time for yourself.
Mhm. That's a blessing. Let me see. What time do I have to myself? The shower. Yeah, no, not the shower. Cooking. Yeah, no, not cooking.
Right.
Baby, so see, my kids are big too, but they're not even kids. They're actually adults. With my
And
young,
that's what I was gonna ask.
but when they were younger, I still made the time, of course. But my kids
Mhm.
are older, so it's like I have nothing. I don't have nobody to really run
They're
out.
dependent on you.
Right.
They do everything for themselves.
Yeah,
You know,
that's true. Because how old is your youngest one?
15. Yep,
Mm.
fifteen.
That's your youngest one?
The youngest one is 15. The oldest one is 24. So
Good Lord. Alicia, how old is your youngest one now?
4.
yeah,
And
Martha.
my youngest is 6 now,
oh,
finally in school. Isn't
yeah, I
that
got
Wait,
awesome?
so
babies.
I have the
I've
baby?
been waiting for so
All,
long. You had the baby,
all I got
right?
babies.
How in the world? No, that's not right
So
because
it
Martha,
sounds
you're
like we're
supposed to
all in
have the younger
completely different
one.
seasons. No, you got the youngest.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Wow.
right. We are all in because Martha, you don't have how old is Taylor? Is she a teenager
Taylor
yet?
is now
Like 13?
13.
Mm.
Yes.
So
Oh
she
my
is
So she's
13.
God.
So
just
you have
crossed
a
the
yeah.
threshold.
Wow.
She's a teenager. I can't even believe it, right? So it sounds like we're all in different seasons. It sounds like you're in a season of rest and being able to reset your life,
Yeah.
prioritize yourself. And we're
Yes.
in the season of, why do I want to say chaos so bad? We're in the season of striving and trying to figure it all out as moms
Right.
and trying to
But
find some me time.
it's
But it's so very important that we prioritize ourselves.
yeah.
I agree with that
Yeah.
so much because if we're not pouring into ourselves, it's really hard for us to
Yeah.
be refueled
Mhm.
to give it out to everybody else. So yeah, it's so important. We got to find the time.
Mhm.
You guys need to enjoy that time because I do miss the babies. I have babies
Hmm.
every now
I
and
was
then.
gonna say that. Yeah, yeah.
So I mean, I do want babies, but I'm just
Yeah,
like, I start thinking about like, I don't know. Well, let's see how it goes. Then I'm like,
right.
so I'm back and forth with that, but I want to say
Yeah.
because when they're kids, I do everything you can with them, like enjoy it. Because now my kids, they do
Yeah.
stuff with me, but I can't do like the little cotton candies and
Yeah.
Right.
and stuff. And because my 16-year-old, she's still into stuff like that, and my 15-year-old,
Mhm.
but
Mhm.
it's not the same when you have baby
Yeah.
baby.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah.
They get
Yeah.
excited
Yeah.
for candy, and you be like, oh, and it melts your heart. So
Yeah, you have to
Yeah.
cherish those moments.
yeah, it's a
Yeah.
good time. So enjoy it. Don't feel bad. Don't feel chaotic like it's chaos. It's actually the most beautiful time of their lives and your life when you have these kids like
Yeah.
that. So enjoy it.
And when I say chaos, I don't mean like it's a bad thing per se,
Yeah.
but it's like I
Right.
feel
Yeah,
like
I
it's
get you.
fast paced. Like we're
Yeah.
going, going,
Yes.
going. We're trying
And
to
it's always
get
something.
everything in. Yes. And it feels like
Mhm.
in this season of life, we're having to be so selfless
Mhm.
that it's hard to
Yeah.
say, what
Yeah.
about me? Right?
Yeah.
I feel like
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't think
Absolutely.
about myself much.
No. No, not at all. I don't think I think about myself. You said much. I don't know if I think about myself at all, which I know is not a good thing, but it's not.
Yeah,
I'm
it could
like,
be
I don't know if it's a
better.
good or bad. You know what I mean? Right.
And then we all deal
You
with
know what I
that
mean?
mom
Because it's
guilt. Like, man, I should be with my kids in this
yes,
moment versus
yes,
me going
yes,
out by myself or going to the gym. Or if I'm at the gym,
yes,
I got to find a
yes.
kids club so they're entertained and engaging in something
Right.
while I'm getting
Exactly.
this workout
Exactly.
in.
I get it. That's why I did
Exactly.
with Coach K for so, I mean Coach D for so long. I had to get it. I
Yeah.
actually involved myself with everything with my children because I want to make
Hmm.
sure they have time and I have the time with them as well. So I completely get
Yeah.
it. I
But we
completely,
have to be
Yeah.
able to pour out
yeah, you know,
Exactly.
and not from an empty
Exactly.
well. So, in order for us
I
to
was
do
about the
that, we
same thing.
have
Can't
to
be from empty
find
cup. Hmm.
more
Hmm.
time for us
hmm
so that
hmm
we're not so frustrated and,
And I think what's
impatient
enlightening
at times.
too, exactly. And I think what's enlightening too is to know that because the different things that Coach K named as far as of her spending time with herself or finding time for herself,
Mhm.
none of them were all like time consuming. So it's not, so she's not saying that she took a full day to
Right.
herself.
Right, right.
Something that she did took maybe 20 minutes. Another thing
Mhm.
she did may have took like an hour. Then another thing, you know what I mean? So I think and I think that's too where the confusion come in is because we're like, if I know for me at least, I'm like, if I take time for myself, I'm thinking I got to take this
Mm-mm.
long
A
extensive
massive amount.
time,
Yeah.
yeah, a massive amount of time. And I think that way because I can get so drained and so tired. I feel like 5 minutes is not enough time. 20 minutes
Right.
is not enough time. But at the same time, I think everything has to start somewhere. So even if
Exactly.
Mhm.
it is just a 5 minute thing, a 10-minute thing, start somewhere so that way you can at least start to take those steps towards finding time for yourself.
Mm.
Alicia, how are you finding time for yourself right now?
Um, well, I'm in a different situation, so I really have nothing but time right now. Outside of work,
Mhm.
I'm working, 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 working. Outside of
Mhm.
that, I don't have my kids with me right now, so
Mhm.
Mhm.
uh, it's a little harder. It's a little, it's harder emotionally, but it's easier for me to really take
Mhm.
breaks, I guess, if I need to, because I don't have them with me at the present time. So,
Mhm.
um,
And I think so really with what you're so on what you're saying, um, because when we have like so you have me and Martha where our kids are with us constantly all the time no matter what we're doing. Then you have Coach K where hers can be with her but at the same time they don't have to be because they're
They're less
teenagers.
dependent.
And
Mhm.
exactly because they're less dependent. And then so for you with them not being present, you know how the saying where it's like you don't miss something until it's gone, or you don't know how important it is until it's gone, or until you're not with them or whatever the case may be. What is that difference? How is that different for you? Like when they were with you to now with their not being with you? I know you said emotionally it's hard, but how is it? How are you managing that?
I'm not.
Mm.
Oh,
I'm not. It's
Oh,
I'm not crying this whole thing,
don't cry. You're gonna make me cry.
but
come on! Don't even start it.
yeah, because from
No.
me going from the same situation y'all are in, like I'm homeschool mom
Mm-hmm.
at
You
Mm-hmm.
were
home,
everything. Yeah.
24/7
Yeah.
with my kids to
Yeah.
how like I barely see them. It's hard, and I deal with
Dang.
a lot of um, guilt because all they knew was mommy.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
now
they
that
did. Your kids wrapped
Oh, for
around you.
sure.
They were, yeah.
so now that they don't have that, just watching the toll that that takes on them is hard.
Oh,
But then
yeah.
also trying to be strong and act like it's okay, like it's gonna get better
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
is hard too. So it's just I guess trying to get myself to the point where I'm not feeling so guilty about doing what I need to do for me,
Mhm.
and it affecting my kids negatively. But at the same time, like y'all were saying, like you can't pour from an empty vessel, and
Yeah.
that's what I was. I'm like completely empty. Like I have nothing to give. I have
Mm.
nothing else.
Mm.
I can't. As my oldest daughter start noticing mommy's not okay, it's like,
Mm.
okay, now it's time for me. Like I need to do something now. Like now it's
Yeah.
to change because I can't let her keep seeing that and thinking that's okay and that's how it's supposed to be. So it's
Absolutely.
a back and forth battle. Like I'm doing what I need to do for me, but at the same time, I know it affects my kids. So I'm constantly back and forth with it. But
Mhm.
you know, I deal with it.
Mm.
I'm so sorry. I know I can't really imagine cuz I can only imagine I can't imagine like but I can imagine how like as far as the pain wise because we are like we're like moms are all about their
Our
kids.
kids, yeah.
Yeah.
Like yeah, it's
And
our kids are everything.
that's another thing too that it's hard for me to find me because I've always been mommy.
Right.
It's
Yeah,
like,
right.
who is Alicia? Like, I've
Yeah.
always been someone's wife and mommy. And
Mhm.
now I don't have those things presently active in my life. It's like, who am I? What do I like? What don't I
Yeah.
like?
Yeah.
What gets me going? What drives me? And I'm still trying
Mhm.
to find that.
Yeah.
So yeah.
But we're still
That's
believing
very
that God is
powerful.
going to restore this situation.
Absolutely.
And I feel like,
Absolutely.
although it's a dark time or dark season, I feel like just listening to you as a mom is still commendable.
Mhm.
Hearing your
Exactly.
story and your perspective about, I have to find me now. I have
Yeah.
to, although this is a rough and it's a season where I'm not really clear on what's happening. I feel like it's still commendable that you're considering your kids by finding yourself.
Yeah.
Because if they're
Yes.
always seeing the
Yes.
dysfunction and seeing a broken mommy, then their perspective is going to be, well, I need to be broken. I need
Broken.
to always
Exactly.
be dealing with shame and guilt and frustrations. Like that's the narrative that I know. So it's like creating cycles. But although you're in
Exactly.
this rough season, I feel like you're still breaking a cycle for them and for
Exactly.
you.
Exactly.
I don't
Absolutely.
I don't believe that this season is gonna last forever. It won't.
Absolutely.
And I feel
Absolutely.
like when you come
Absolutely.
out on the other side of it, it's gonna be a beautiful thing. Beauty from ashes that God is
Mhm.
gonna create for
Absolutely.
your story as well as your
Absolutely.
kids.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm gonna just tell you, I mean, y'all know my story, all of y'all know my story as far as not being raised by my parents.
Mhm.
And so to help you just a little bit, because I was your oldest daughter.
Mm.
So I was her seeing mommy and seeing how and feeling the energy and feeling how things weren't right, seeing how things weren't right. And at the same time, I was her at the same time where when I was left with my godparents, um, I felt the neglect. I
Mm.
felt like mommy didn't love me. I felt that I wasn't good enough for mommy to take me with her. So at that present moment, that is how I felt. Um, but as I got older and as mommy kept talking to me, as mommy still, even though mommy couldn't physically be there, I was
Yeah.
still able to talk to mommy. I was still,
Communication
and
is
so as
key.
time,
Yeah.
absolutely, absolutely. So as time go on till this day at 37, I thank God for my mommy because I
Mhm.
really don't know what type of life I would have had if mommy didn't leave me with my
Right, right.
godparents. You know what I mean? So she had to do the same thing. She had to leave, and she would always tell me, like as I got older in my teen years, she would say, you know, it's not that I don't love you. It's not that mommy doesn't want you with me. It's because I have to do this for me so that way I can better myself. So that way I can be there how you need me to be there for you when
Right.
you need me to be there. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Yeah.
So now, like I said, as an adult, I thank God for mommy. And me and my mommy are like this. You know what I
Yeah.
You
mean?
really
Like
are,
it didn't,
yeah.
yeah, it didn't break any type of connection. It didn't break any type of bond, any type of love. I don't love her any less. She doesn't love me any less. So even though you're feeling the guilt, because my mom, when me and her have that conversation, she says that she felt the guilt too. Everything that you're saying that you're feeling, she felt the exact same thing. And she even said there were plenty of times where she brought tickets to come and get me, but
Mhm.
decided not to come and get me because she kept saying to herself, if I go and get her, I don't know what type of life she's going to have. I don't want her here with me seeing this stuff. I don't want it. So I
Right.
have to do this. I'm doing it for her and for me.
Yeah. And that's
So
how,
just know that,
that's where I am. Like
yeah.
with that, like y'all know, like my kids are
You're everything.
absolute world.
Yeah,
Yeah.
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 So for me
Yeah.
to leave and have to leave them because I wasn't working, I didn't have a car, I didn't have a place to go, like I had no money. Like the only money I had was what my husband gave me when he decided to give me something, and I spend that on the kids. So
Hmm.
when I left, I literally had to have him take me to where I was going because I didn't have nowhere to get to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
In that situation, like I can't what can I do for 5 kids?
Right.
Like
Yeah.
I'm gonna struggle trying to feed myself and trying to house myself. I don't want them to be in that situation, and not to sound like a butthole, but I knew at least he would have a roof over their head. You know what I
Right.
mean? At least they
Yeah.
would have their own bed to sleep in. So
Yeah.
I take them from that to struggle life, just to keep
Yeah.
them with me. I'd rather them, stay with him. And that's had its own struggles, another conversation for another day. But it was like I can't do that to them. Like
Right.
Yeah.
I've been over these past 3 years, like I've been homeless. I've been sleeping at work and sleeping in my work car and trying to
Wow.
figure out like where I'm going to sleep
Wow.
on somebody's couch, like back and forth.
Yeah.
Right now,
Hmm.
I'm where I'm living now. I got to move at the end of the month. Don't know where I'm going. Don't have any stable
Yeah. Wow.
income or anything. So I'm just like trying to figure it out. I don't want my kids to be in that situation.
Yeah.
So
Absolutely.
like leaving them, yes, it was super hard, but at least they would be somewhat comfortable. They're somewhat
Yeah.
comfortable. So but yeah, like that's like I have literally thought about like multiple times, like, look, I can't be away from my kids like this. I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna suffer through it until they get grown.
Yeah.
Like, and it's I've had the conversation with my oldest two. Um, they knew why I left when I originally left.
Hmm.
Um, so we've had that conversation. We talk about it all the time. They encourage me all the time. My daughter completely broke me down one day because she was like, "Mom, she they go to like a youth group or something, and
Hmm.
she went to youth group and had a moment, encounter, whatever you want to call it, with the Lord. But after that, she called me and she was like, "Mom, I forgive you for leaving." And
Wow.
yeah, it completely
Dang.
broke me down because I was struggling. Like, I need to go back because my kids need me.
Yeah.
Um, and when she said that,
Jesus.
it gave me encouragement to keep doing what I'm doing because I
Yeah.
know I'm doing it for them. Um, but it's still hard. It's still hard.
Yeah.
But it's a little easier with my teenagers because I know they understand. But with my babies,
Mm.
like when I left, my youngest was he had just turned 2 when I left.
Oh
He wasn't
Lord.
trained yet, and now he's about to be 5. All of
Wow.
that time, like I've missed
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
time that I can't get back. So
Yeah.
you know, it's 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 hard. Like it's hard, but I know it's what's needed for me to get myself to the best place that I can be mentally and physically and everything else so that I can give them what they need. So
Absolutely.
yeah.
I really commend you for that because most women they will not do that. They're really
Talk about it.
a lot of kids will suffer with them, but because you knew that their father was the best place for them to be financially, so they can have a better way of living. I really commend you for that because some women are just very
They'll suffer in silence.
yeah, They're suffering silent, but sometimes it can be very, I don't want to say be not,
Hateful.
yeah, hateful and self. The word I'm looking for is selfish.
Yeah.
And
Mm-hmm.
I think sometimes when they're that selfish because of their emotional, I guess the traumas they went through with their significant other or others, they tend to just not want to think about the stability of the kids and
Right.
only of themselves. And
Right.
I
Mm-hmm.
commend you because you thought only of the stability of your children and not just yourself.
Exactly.
You see, so
Exactly.
that's just accepting your reality, and
Yeah.
that
Exactly.
I commend you for that, bro. I really do. I'm getting my little country slang back. I commend you for that, bro.
Right.
Like
Exactly.
that's
Exactly. And that takes the word strength to a whole nother level.
yeah,
Right.
It takes it to a whole nother level because it takes everybody says it takes a strong woman to balance it all. It takes a
yeah,
strong woman to balance being a mom, being a wife, working, doing, owning a business, whatever the case may be. It takes a strong woman to do all that, but it takes a strong woman too to let all of that go so that way I can better myself, so that way I can be able to provide all that other stuff for you. You know what I mean? So
Mhm.
it takes strength, the word strength, to a whole nother level. So I
It
also
really does.
commend you tremendously. So don't think that I know it's easier said than done, and I know that even like Martha was saying, it's hard right now, but it doesn't rain forever. It can't rain forever. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Right.
So it's going to get better, and change is going to come, and God sees it, God hears you, and it's going to get better. You just got to keep doing what you're doing, keep doing what you're doing, and keep going. Just don't stop is the thing. Don't stop,
Mhm.
don't quit, don't throw in the towel, don't do none of that. Like, don't. And
I think
we've seen you quit because you've gotten to, this is the longest, on a joking side, this is the longest that you, because every other time you did go back, like, the couple of times, it was very short time, you're like, no, or either you took the kids with you, or the kids, and you would,
yeah.
but this time,
But at
like
this time I
like,
only had two. It is
yeah,
more
true that,
easier
true
to
that, yeah, it's a little different, yeah. You got five now. You got five on them. Right.
I'm like, oh
Exactly.
my God, I don't like I don't know. I can't take care of five kids on my own. I don't even have a place to put them. Like that's
Right. Right.
I wasn't
But
nobody.
I love that we're sharing this other side of it because a lot of times mothers it's like a negative connotation. If
yeah,
there's a mom, if you hear a mom that has left her kids, you
Yeah.
think,
Oh
oh, she
Yeah.
was just being selfish. She was just pursuing her goals
No.
and her dreams,
Yeah.
and she wasn't thinking about her kids. And you hear about the neglect and the abuse and just the absence.
yeah,
But to
Mm-hmm.
hear the validity behind your reasoning as to why,
yeah,
she's
hmm
thinking about her kids the whole while. Like she's trying to prepare a better place for them. And all I
Exactly.
keep thinking
Exactly.
about is Jesus and the Holy Spirit. I have to go. I can't stay with you
Mm-hmm.
right now. I have to leave
Right.
so that I can leave a
Right.
comforter for you. Like
Exactly.
she's leaving so that she can provide a better life essentially for her
Exactly.
kids. And that's such a
Exactly.
beautiful thing, Alicia. So don't
Absolutely.
wear the shame. You don't have to wear it or the
Absolutely.
guilt because you're doing this for them. And I love that
Exactly.
God, even in his encounter, he's showing your kids that mommy wasn't thinking about her.
Exactly.
yeah.
He's showing your kids like I'm working even in this. Mommy's not here,
Mm-hmm.
but God is reminding them that I'm still with you. So
Exactly.
it's girl, I am just so fascinated by your testimony.
Yes.
And it even
Yes.
encourages me as a mom, like, I gotta get it together.
I gotta get
I
it
need to
together.
stop
I'm over
complaining.
here
I have
complaining.
to be more appreciative
Right.
about what
Right.
I have.
Exactly.
It's
Exactly.
chaotic. It's frustrating at
Exactly.
times. Yeah, I don't get to focus on me that much, but I have my
Right.
children.
I,
Exactly.
I
And
miss
she's
that.
Exactly.
longing for her kids.
Exactly. Exactly.
Alicia, girl, you about
Exactly.
to make me cry.
Exactly. Exactly. Exactly.
It's
And
beautiful.
it's crazy because she's we're sitting here like we're trying, like, talking about me time. Like, I can't even take a shower
Girl,
without my
forget it.
youngest one
I'm
coming
good.
coming in.
Come in the
Again,
shower
I'm
with me.
good. Come on, come on, come on.
I was just
Right.
I was just trying to use the bathroom the other night, and like all of them, just one by one. I'm like, can I get a moment? Can I just use the bathroom?
It's
And I'm
Right,
sure
right.
Alicia is longing for her kids just to come
yeah.
pop up
Exactly. Exactly.
while I'm on the
Exactly. Come
toilet,
come bust in the door. Exactly. Exactly.
Wow.
When I see
Exactly.
them though, it's back to the same thing. When I see them, I get up and
Yeah.
go to the bathroom. I turn around and they like right there. So,
Right.
like they came to visit for Christmas and they stayed here with me for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And I had beds downstairs for them to sleep in. I slept upstairs on the couch, and all of my kids want to come sleep in the living room on the couch with me, sleeping on the floor and everything. Like y'all have a whole bed downstairs, y'all can sleep in.
Act like we
Right.
never left.
Like, nah, nah.
It don't change no
Right.
matter how
Exactly.
long. They still they be right there. I be sitting on the toilet. They come visit me. I'm sitting on the toilet. They all standing, by all five of
Ma,
them.
what you doing?
Like
Ma,
Right.
this what it,
not conversation time. This is not the time to have a whole
this is
conversation.
their therapy.
Yes.
For real.
Right. Exactly.
That's
But yeah,
funny.
like
Exactly.
on a day-to-day basis, I 100% miss that. Miss
Yeah.
yelling at my kids and fussing at them and hearing them
Mhm.
running around and acting crazy. Like with the people that we're staying with now, they have two kids, and I don't even really interact too much with their kids because it
Hmm.
It
reminds me,
triggers. Yeah.
yeah,
Hmm. It's a
like
trigger, yeah.
they want me to cook for them, and I'm like, I don't feel like cooking because I cook for my kids all the time. I don't want to cook for your kids, and I'm not cooking for my kids.
Right.
Like,
Right.
it
Right.
bothers me.
Yeah.
It bothers me. And then
Yeah.
with me, I was substitute teaching at a school, and I went to a class. I had a substitute at a pre-K class one day, and this little boy walks into the class, and he looked like the identical twin of my baby Ezra.
Oh wow.
I tell you, I broke down so quick, like
Wow.
leave the class and go to the bathroom and get myself together because I'm like, my baby just walked
Oh
into the
no.
bathroom.
Wow.
Like, so it's like I'm it hits me, and then it's like I have to get myself in the mindset or keep myself in the mindset of this is the time that you need to use to focus on you and get yourself together.
Mhm.
Um, but it hits. It hits out of nowhere. I'm like, I miss my babies. When I get to FaceTime them and they actually answer the phone, teenagers, but when they actually answer the phone and I get to FaceTime them, it's like, Mom, why are you crying? It's like, no, I'm happy. I'm happy
Yeah.
days.
Right.
Just because I don't get
Yeah.
to see them
Yeah.
every day. I don't get to kiss my babies every day. I don't get to hug them every day. Even though I talk to them or text them or whatever every day, it's like I don't get that
It's
physical.
not the same.
Yeah, it's not the same at all. So yeah, and it was a
Exactly.
struggle. It was a hard life
Exactly.
being full time, 100%, 24/7 mommy. But
Hmm.
you will miss it when it's gone.
Right.
Yeah, just like the coach was saying earlier, cherish that time because that time
Yeah.
goes away
It
very
goes by
quickly.
so fast.
It goes by so
Yeah.
like I said, when I left, my baby had just turned 2, and now he's about to be 5. Like that time,
Yeah.
it seems like I haven't been gone that long. He's about
Mhm.
5 years old,
Yeah.
so the time goes
It goes fast.
Yeah.
very quickly. So
Yeah.
It does. It
and,
does. But
and
I know it is I'm gonna just say this last thing about this so that way we can all stop crying. But um but it is sometimes it's better to be uncomfortable for a season.
Mhm.
And when I say that, it's because even though we're uncomfortable in the season and whatever season that we're in, it's for the better. And the better is gonna come after that. So it's like, and I say that from experience because even back to my situation with me and my mommy, I now as an adult, I always say I wouldn't be the woman I am today if it wasn't for my mother and my godmother. So even though during that season it was hard for me not to be with her, it was hard for her not to have me. Um, I wouldn't be who I am today if it wasn't for me not being with her. If it wasn't for all the different things that I endured, if it wasn't for like it's like everybody has their own race that they have to run, and
Right.
everybody has their own destination that they're trying to get to, and every family has their chain and um chains that need to be broken. And just like with you, my mom, she started to break that chain as well, because now, because of what I seen, because of what I didn't see, I'm able to have an almost 20-year relationship with my husband. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
I'm able to have all of my kids in the same home with me, where, you know what I'm saying? Like, you just never know where, if God didn't have us down, if God didn't put us on a certain path, if we went down another path, what would have happened? You know what I'm
All
saying? I
right.
could have been another statistic in my family where our marriage did not last, where my I didn't have all of my kids, but because that was every relationship and
Right.
everybody in my family.
Right.
It may be hard for your kids and for you, but it's gonna make them better adults, and it's gonna
Right.
make them better people. And you as well. So yeah, I just wanted to share
Hey,
that.
I ain't
But
gonna lie though. I be questioning the Lord. Like, me and the Lord got a
right,
very
I know.
relationship now than what we used to. Like what I don't understand
What you do? What's going on? Like,
what's going on. Like, I tried to cross every T and dot every I. I don't understand
Right.
what's
right.
okay, but I'm still hanging on in
But
there.
that's the thing.
Right.
Like, we don't always understand God's will, but we gotta trust it.
Yeah,
Gotta trust it.
yeah.
Yeah.
Gotta trust it. Absolutely. Absolutely. So, what is it like with your relationship with each of your oldest ones? Because, wait, am I the only one that have an oldest that's a boy? No, Coach K, your oldest. Nope, your oldest is a girl.
Yeah. Well,
Dang.
she's my only boy. So he is my
Yeah.
oldest boy, but only my only boy. So
True, 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 true. Because they always be like, your relationship with your oldest is always different, but then your relationship with your son or your firstborn son is always different. And they always say, what I'm saying, they say that the love is always there. You love them all the same,
I
yeah.
wouldn't
but
know.
it's just like it's just when it's your
I
first
wouldn't know.
child and you say,
I wouldn't know. I wouldn't know about it.
You
But continue. Carry on.
one now though. You have one now though that you
I don't have a son.
can
Oh, baby
play.
Joshua. Yes. 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 You're right. But
oh
carry on.
God, exactly. Martha said, so I'm gonna step out on this part and I'll come back.
I'll just listen
Listen
to
to the
this
fight to me.
part.
No, but
Oh
it's not just with boys, but it's your first.
The
Well,
first
okay, so your first is a girl. And your all are girls. But so is there a different relationship? Do you find that there's a different relationship or a different dynamic or a different? I know we love our kids all the same, but is there like a different between you and Taylor than it is with you and like any of the other ones?
well, I feel like with Taylor, it's not as many filters because she's older and she understands. And with me and Grace, it's more of the cuddly, codependent
Mhm.
relationship. I kind of let her get by with a little bit more because she's my baby. But Taylor's going through this phase. She's in middle school, she's in seventh grade, where
Yeah.
and it's different. And it's such a God thing, but she shares everything, which I'm so surprised about. Because, teenagers, they don't want to share anything. She overshares. Like, everything. And I love that. Um,
Yeah.
at times I'm like, Taylor, give me a minute. Like, but I just love it. She wants to share everything. Like she has a crush on a little boy, and she has struggles sometimes with
Oh,
her friends,
what?
and
Taylor?
this one is saying this and spreading rumors, and but I just love that she's open and willing to share because I wasn't that kid that felt
Yeah.
open enough to share with my parents because
right.
they created an atmosphere that was a lot more stricter and stern. We could share with our
Mhm.
mom, but not as much with our dad. But I think there is a difference in terms of like what's age appropriate and what's not. But in terms of
Right.
like there being a major difference,
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't say there's a significant difference as in how
Mm-hmm.
I engage with them.
Mm-hmm.
But as far as what I share, it is a difference based
Absolutely.
on the age. I will say that.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay, so then Coach K, your oldest is a girl. Okay,
Yeah,
Coach K, but and your oldest is older too.
she like grown. We
She
all
grown. She
How old
grown
is
grown.
she?
we 24, so we basically grew up
Oh
together.
wow. Oh,
So
black don't crack.
no,
Because
Yes.
I'm sitting over here trying to figure out, well, how old is Coach K?
no, actually, I'm 40. I'm
You're
40.
40? Oh
Yeah,
wow, you look
Wait a
great.
minute. When did you hit 40?
February. I just turned
Wow.
40.
Go girl.
Thank you, girl.
Hey,
You look
black don't crack.
good.
You look good, Coach K.
Yeah.
You look good, girl.
Well, yeah, me and my oldest, we basically, oh no, I'm so sorry. We basically grew up together.
Oh, wait,
So
wait, hold up, hold
I
up,
had
hold up, hold up.
um,
Wait a minute, stop, Coach K.
uh,
What?
they can hear
Me?
you. Like seriously.
Is it good now? So you want me to sit here? Like this? Okay. All right. Action. Okay, Coach K.
So again,
Sorry.
we basically grew up together. I had her very young. I had her at 15. So
Okay.
she's been like my best friend, but at the same
Mhm.
time, my daughter. So all my kids have different personalities. So
Mm.
so with that being said, but they all get the same treatment, if you get what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I understand
Yeah,
that. Yeah.
absolutely.
And she is not here anymore. She actually moved out, and that was like the saddest thing ever when she actually moved out. Because that was my oldest. We were together since I was,
Yeah.
so it was like she's been there, but she's been like my rock. To be honest with you, she calls me by everything. Everything goes in her life. Like same thing. She tells me everything. Some things I just don't want to know. But
Yeah, it's like TMI.
and because all my children, I have an open relationship with all my kids. If they have anything to ask me. I will not share
Absolutely.
it with you at all. I do not believe that parents should hide anything for their children. Um,
Mhm.
even if
Yeah.
they're 5 years old and ask a question, of course you got to kind of break it down to a 5 year old differently than you would a 24-year old. However, I don't, I don't try to be that traditional parent.
Mhm.
I'm
Hmm.
not that parent. I'm just a realist. And if
Hmm.
it stinks, it stinks. If it's pretty, it's pretty. If it's ugly, it's just flat out ugly. I'm not gonna sit there and sugarcoat anything with my children because they're to me after they hit a certain age, like 10, I don't consider them as children anymore. I consider them as grown adults because you're teaching your children to be adults, not to stay
Right.
kids mentally.
Right.
Right.
So with
Mhm.
that being said, excuse me, I don't. My oldest, we just like we here. Like we just like
Hmm.
that. Like she calls me by everything. So I don't
Hmm.
know. I can't really explain it because I all my kids I treat them the same thing. I treat them the same way
Hmm.
across the board. So it's not
Yeah.
no different or anything that I can say to one and not to the other. I am actually the same with all of them.
Hmm.
I can put it in simplest words. I don't know.
Yeah. No, that's good. That's good.
Mhm.
Um. Okay, Alicia.
Um, with my oldest two, open book, like they have absolutely no filter at all. But my youngest three is a little different because I have a big eight. Like I have a 8 or 9 year age gap between my oldest two and my last three. So
Mhm.
Oh
they
wow.
they still in the nurturing, babying phase with my
Mhm.
youngest three. But yeah, my oldest two, Um, we talk about everything. Same as y'all. Same as y'all. I'm like, okay, all right. Like even down to when they joking, like they have, kids, teenagers get to a certain age where everything is an innuendo and
Mm-hmm.
everything is pause or bro or like everything. So it's a whole bunch of that going on. But yeah, we talk about everything. If they ask me anything, I tell them. If it's something related to me and their father situation or whatever, I do my best to not speak negatively. Um,
Mhm.
but if they ask me a direct question, I'm not gonna lie to them
Mm.
about
Mm.
whatever. And so yeah, we're pretty open. They know they can come to me and talk to me about any and everything. Jordan's more like her father, so she's more vocal about everything, and Aaron's more like me, so he's the one that'll keep it quiet and keep it inside. Um, but every now and then, like I'll get a feeling that I need to dig in with Aaron a little bit because he won't say
Mm-hmm.
it. Like he'll feel something and he won't say it. He's like me, so he tries to stay on the positive side and be
Mhm.
optimistic and don't want to speak bad about anything. So it take a little bit more pulling to get to his inner feelings, how he's feeling about stuff. But Jordan, she's gonna let you know, like this is what it
Right.
is. This is what I didn't like. Blah 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 blah. She's gonna tell you, but she Jordan's about to be 18 this year, so
Really? Oh
yeah,
Oh
my.
my god.
No.
That's
yeah.
crazy.
Wow.
She's
That's crazy.
she's a grown woman
How did
now,
we miss that?
right?
Oh my.
Cause you want to move to Texas. That's why you
Oh
want to
my
move to
God.
Texas.
18. Are you sure?
Yeah, and Aaron will be
Are you
17.
Wow.
sure?
Aaron will be 17 this year. So
No.
yeah, I got
That's
older
crazy.
too. So
Wow.
conversations are a lot different between them, of course, as
Absolutely.
younger ones. But I feel like in a sense they're like my best friends because they know everything about me, and
Yeah.
I've known them all their life. So like we're very
Right.
very close in that sense. Even though I don't get to see them every day, I'm talking to them every day, texting them every day. They sending me crazy little jokes all the time, and I'm like, it make me be like, hold on a second, like I'm still mommy, but at the
Don't
same
forget.
Yeah.
like, but at the same time, it's like I love that they feel comfortable enough
Yeah.
to be in that space with me. So yeah, it's I love it. I love
I'm
But
it.
you know
glad.
what? I think that in and of itself speaks to
Yeah.
like our motherhood and the fact that we're doing a good job. Because sometimes I even
Yeah.
question, like, am I being a good mom? Like, am I doing this thing
Absolutely.
right? But I think that's
Absolutely.
a clear indicator that we're doing something right, that they feel open and safe to share. It speaks
Exactly.
to the environment that we're creating as moms. And it speaks to the fact that we're fostering a healthy environment, an open
Exactly.
environment where they feel open to share, because a lot of kids don't want to share.
Yeah.
Right.
So like when
Exactly.
Taylor's overly sharing or the girls are telling me things that I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe they're telling me that.
We
It
have
reminds me
you
that,
getting all the tea. You getting
I am
all
getting
the
this
tea.
right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I
Absolutely.
just felt like growing up, I was afraid to really verbalize how I felt about certain things because
Mhm.
I felt like I would get in trouble or it would create underlying issues if I really shared. But I think
Mhm.
it's beautiful that our kids are willing to be their authentic and organic selves in front of us.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so
Absolutely.
we're doing a good job.
Yeah.
We're doing okay,
Hey,
moms.
I was
y'all are doing
We're
a
doing
fabulous
okay.
job.
I was
Absolutely.
laughing. She was saying that some of the text messages that your kids send you, the text messages, the videos, the conversation.
Yes.
I'm looking like, uh, I get you want to talk to me, but oh my god,
Right.
Right.
you know, tone it down a little bit.
Tone it down.
bit.
Right.
They feel really safe with you.
They
They
do.
do.
Yeah.
I'm glad that they do so safe with me, but I'll be looking like, but at the same time, it's wonderful. I think it's wonderful that you are, like you said, it's wonderful your kids are able to open up to you about any and everything that goes on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Only because you don't want them opening up to anybody outside your house
Right.
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 and give them
Exactly.
bad advice
Yeah.
or
Exactly.
manipulate them to do things that they should not do at that time that would taint their family.
Exactly.
Right.
So with that being said, I think that yeah, if your kids are like that, you guys are doing an awesome job too. Awesome.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So then that brings to the next question for real is do you believe that your children or do you believe that you should be your child's best friend? Because a lot of people and how I was raised, I'm not your friend. I'm
Yeah,
your mother. I'm not your friend. I'm your auntie. Like, don't you
yeah,
be blah, 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 blah. But my relationship with my kids is definitely like y'all's. We talk about, well, I'm a little, mine is opposite though, because our oldest is a boy. And then our next is the girl, which is our only girl. But they're very close in age.
Mhm.
But the oldest boy, um, once again, the boy and the girl being that they're so close in age, um, being that they're so close in age, I talk with them differently and about different things than I do with
right.
obviously the younger ones. The younger ones, they're talking about how somebody didn't want to play with them on the playground. You know what I mean? So that's a totally different type of conversation where,
Mhm.
I mean, the older ones, we're talking about peer pressure and we're talking about being leaders and we're talking about them being their own self. And you know what I mean? Um, but with us only having the one girl, me and her, I'm that parent, and I can start it off. I'm that parent where even with all of my kids, I am their friend. I'm
Yeah.
your mother first, but I am your friend.
Right.
And my reasoning behind it is because like I tell them, is that I'm your mother because I birthed you. I'm not gonna steal you. I'm not gonna steal you wrong. I have your best interest at heart. I'm never gonna lie to you. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm always gonna put you and your needs before my own.
Mhm.
So I'm your mother first, and I have to provide for you and all those good things. But at the same time, I want you to look at me as your friend because if you think about it, when they have friends, um, they tell their friends everything. They
Right.
tell their friends their secrets. They tell
Mhm.
their friends what they normally wouldn't, what a child normally would not tell their parent. You
Right.
know what I
Mhm.
mean? So I want them to look at me as your mom and your friend. So that way you can come to me about every secret, about every crush, about your first kiss, about all these different things, because I'm not going to judge you. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm going to prepare you and I'm going to tell you the truth and I'm going to make sure that you're ready for whatever it is that life tries to throw at you. We can't prevent things from happening and we can't shield them from things from happening, but I can help prepare you.
Right.
So that's the question. So, do you think that you should be your child's friend or just a mom and not a friend? Anybody can start.
I'm with you, Coach D. I think both. I don't like. I would rather my kids tell me everything. Although I rather, if they don't tell me anything, I'd rather tell their siblings. Go
Yeah,
to them at least. If
I
it's
can see
something
that.
serious, then they will come to me about it. However, I think that parents again shouldn't to be so set on being a traditional parent like it was back in the day. 'Cause again, like she said before, I'm the parent, and you do what I tell you to do. It does not work in my household
Right.
because
Yeah.
sometimes you learn from your children, and there's some things that
Yeah,
you just don't know. Things change, and you
Right.
can't sit
absolutely.
there and say, "Well, I know everything because I'm older." No, you actually don't.
No,
You know.
my teens teach me a lot. My
Yes,
teens,
Mine
like,
too.
yes.
Right.
So,
I'll be like, what? Like, what happened? Like, what?
that's why I
Yeah.
think that some parents just kind of get in their own way, and that's what actually separates them from their children. The
Mhm.
relationship won't be there, and like you
Mhm.
have a grown woman as a child, and then y'all not even talking. Y'all should be like really close because they're gonna be older one day. They're 24 years
Yeah.
old, so like we talk to each other about everything. And I always
Yeah.
think about how it is with me and my mom. I talk to her too, but I don't have that bond with her like I
Right.
would like to have with her because of how I was raised. You know,
Mhm.
so I think that parents should be their friend and their mentor and their teacher and their
Yeah.
nurturer and their logic in every aspect because that's how they learn. That's how they elevate. That's how they
Yeah.
grow. You know.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I think there should
Absolutely.
be a balance between the two. I think in
Absolutely.
my house, both of those are present, but I haven't, I think it's kind of like an unspoken, I'm your friend, but they know I'm your
Mm.
mom. Because I feel
Yeah.
like there has to be a certain reverence for who I
Mhm.
am as their mom.
Yeah.
But I definitely agree there should be that friendship aspect to the relationship that we have with our kids. Because,
Mhm.
like you said, we want them to feel open to share and know that if anybody's going to have my back, it's going to be mommy.
Mhm.
Also to know
Yeah.
that if there are other perspectives or ideals that are happening in the world, that mom's going to be able to share an honest perspective, and it's going to be a truthful perspective that in the end is going to benefit me in the long run. But I feel
Yeah.
like there should also be a certain honor for the role that I have in my kids' life. I feel like as parents, because there's it's like a twofold thing, because sometimes
Mhm.
parents will emphasize, well, I'm your friend, I'm your friend, I'm your friend, but then when it's time
Mhm.
for them to actually listen to you, when it's time for there to be
Yeah.
insight or discipline, they're like, hold up, you said you were my friend,
Yeah.
my friend ain't gonna
It
give me no
has to be a
consequences.
balance. It
There
has
has
to
to be
be
a
a balance.
balance. So I love what you all
Absolutely.
said in creating the
Absolutely.
balance. It can't be one or the other,
With the other,
but they
right.
can coexist. I definitely agree with
Exactly.
that, because
Absolutely.
sometimes kids can push the button where they're trying to take advantage of.
Right.
You said we were
Right.
friends. Hold up.
Right.
So can I
Right.
stay up a little bit later, friend?
Right.
Can I
Right.
go do
No,
this?
go
Can
to
I eat
bed.
more candy, friend?
Right.
Can I push the
Right.
envelope, friend? So I
Right.
feel like it
Right.
can definitely be both. But my kids know, when they try to question, hold up, I'm still your mom now.
Right.
There are certain things that
Absolutely.
I'm just not going to allow that your friend may allow. And nowadays,
Exactly.
friends can be questionable because they're trying to, although they're saying they're your friend, they're trying to steer you in the wrong direction.
Exactly.
So I
Exactly.
feel like that balance
Absolutely.
is so very important. There has to be a reverence for me as your mom. But yes, I do want to create that friend relationship because I do want you to feel open and free to share and to just be yourself without filters. But at the same
Absolutely.
time, I do want you to trust what I'm saying as your mom in leading
Exactly.
you and nurturing you and providing a safe environment for you. But I want you to also understand that there are certain parameters that you can't cross.
Right.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
What do you think, Alicia?
I think I'm on the same page as far as it having to be both. I think with the balance, I think it changes with age.
Mm-hmm.
Like for the younger ones, you're more mommy, less friend. As they
Mm.
get older, the scales start tipping and you're more friend, less mommy.
Mm-hmm.
But it's all on the same scale. I
Right.
definitely think you need both of them. I need you to do what I say when I tell you what I need you to
Right.
do.
Exactly.
But like everybody else said, at the same time, if something is happening, if something is going on that you don't like, or it's something that you need to speak on, I want to be your safe space to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
Because you're not going to get that from everybody in the world. So I want to be the one person outside of God that you can go to talk to when you can't talk to
Mm-hmm.
anybody else.
Right.
And with me, with my oldest two, like I said, Jordan's more open to share, and Aaron is a little um, more timid. Um, but he'll talk to Jordan about things that he may not. He'll mention to me, but he'll go into detail with Jordan.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mhm.
with them, I have to kind of coach Jordan on how to talk to Aaron.
Yeah.
Give him
Being
like
creative.
Yeah.
these little tidbits.
Yeah.
Well, you don't know it's
Right.
coming from mommy, but I don't want her to break his trust and
Exactly.
like my
Exactly.
sister. She's
Absolutely.
tell mommy everything. So
Exactly.
it's finding a balance with that too. Of yes, Jordan, if something is going on with your brother, I need to know about it, especially if it's serious or can lead to
Yeah.
serious because Like for example, Aaron was going through like a super depressed state, and
Mhm.
Oh.
he's still kind of where he up all night, he'll sleep all day, get up like 4 or 5 o'clock in the afternoon because he's just like, what's the point of getting up? You know, I ain't gonna do nothing today. I'm not, you know,
No.
Mhm.
we're
Yeah.
doing the same cycle. So, but he wouldn't talk to anybody about it except for Jordan.
Mm.
And it was starting to kind of weigh on Jordan because she's like, I hate seeing my brother like this, but
Yeah.
talk about it and I try to encourage him out of it or whatever, we get into an argument about it or whatever the case may be. So now I'm coaching Jordan on how to reach Aaron in a sisterly way, but it's coming from mom's
Yeah.
perspective because I know he's not going to take it from
Yeah.
me because he don't even want me to
Right.
know because he's like me.
Right.
I'm good. I'm fine. Everything's great. But
Yeah.
Yeah.
it's not. So it's finding those different ways of how to reach them, still being mom, still being their safety net, but at the same time, they may not come to you, even if they do feel like you're their best friend. They may not come to you. So finding those different avenues of being able to still get to them, and at least if I got one of them, I know I got both of them. If I can't,
Right, right.
Right.
I can reach
Right.
the others. So it's just um, yeah, I think it's all a balance. I think it all comes with time and age, knowing
Mhm.
when to be in what role, friend or mother. For
Hmm.
Yeah.
But I like
Yeah.
what you said about creating that trust element.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Because if they trust you, they're going to share more,
right,
or there's
Exactly.
going to create like this open space for them to be um, clear and to be able to share even their deepest, darkest secrets.
yeah,
And also what you said, Coach Kate, about it's not just do what I say.
Hmm.
As parents
Right.
nowadays, we have to share. We have to provide that clarity
Yeah.
because if
Yeah.
we don't,
somebody else
it's
will.
open for everybody else to do so.
Yeah.
But we know like exposure is everything. And growing up for
Mhm.
me, there was so much because I was in such a stern and strict household. Like you got to walk this fine line that there
Mhm.
was so much that I just didn't know because it
Yeah,
wasn't
Yeah.
shared.
Yeah.
Even with my parents, it was always, you better not have sex until marriage. Like just don't. It's, you just don't do that. And
Yeah.
yes, they gave the
Yeah.
guidelines of, it pleases God and you just wait till marriage. But I didn't know all the other things that came along with that. I feel like there was so much as a
Exactly.
kid
Yeah.
because it was just walk this fine line that
right,
I was just so unclear about. I was so oblivious because my parents
Mhm.
didn't share it. So that's why I feel like even in as a parent to girls, I have all girls, I have to ensure that I'm sharing because
Yeah.
I want them to
Yeah.
know and I want them to have insights to where they can share with their friends or even combat, the
right,
temptation or
Exactly.
somebody else's perspective where they're trying to tempt me or lead me a different direction. No, I'm standing on this because my mom and dad gave me clarity on this. And I know the consequences, I
Exactly.
know the incentives, I know the outcomes, I already know the results. So there's
right,
nothing you can tell me. They
Yeah.
can make an informed
Exactly.
decision because I had that conversation with mom
yeah.
and dad.
Exactly.
And
And
that's
I
one of
think
the
it starts with a younger that when they're younger too. Like
Mm-hmm.
don't you can't start at a later when they're teens or preteens. It starts when they're young. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because even with ours, I would every day I would bring them in one at a time, or when we would have family time, and I'm asking them, "How was your day? What did
Mm-hmm.
you do today?
Don't just say
Was
good.
everyone nice to you?" Right?
Right.
Exactly. I know we're not doing a
What
one
was good
word
about it?
answer. Like I need what was good about it? What
Can
was
you
your favorite part?
elaborate?
Like give me some details. Give it to me.
Right.
You know what I mean? And we started that young. You know what I'm saying? And I
Mm-hmm.
think that's why as they got older, where my older two, they're teens now, they feel more comfortable because they've been doing it since they were toddlers anyway. You know what I
Right.
mean? So you can't wait until, and I think that's when you start younger too, it also defines that line between mom and friend
Mm-hmm.
because
Right.
this is years of practice. This is years of us going through this routine. It's like doing chores. You've been doing chores since you were 5. You're 16 now. You know how to do these chores. So
You're
let's,
establishing healthy
there's no
routines.
need to
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Exactly. So I think it's very important to start early. A lot of, I think we're all talking about, our childhood and how we were taught. So how does your childhood affect how you parent now? Do you parent the same way that you were parented when you were a child?
I think my childhood has given me insight about what to do, but also what not to do.
Not
Mm-hmm.
to
And
do.
like I said,
Absolutely.
because I didn't have clarity on a lot,
Yeah.
it makes me more open to have those conversations with my children and just to advocate, teach them how to advocate for themselves and just give them voice. Because I
Yeah.
felt like for a long time, because I was so shielded. Like my dad he was a pastor.
Yeah.
We grew up in the church. Like we were so shielded that Mary and I have a twin sister, if you don't know, but we were just so afraid of everything. Like even the slightest thing, it scared us to death because we didn't have exposure to it, and because it was created, the narrative was created that this thing is just so horrible. So I think as a parent now, looking back in hindsight, it kind of gives me foresight into like I don't want to create that perspective for
Yeah.
my kids that
Yeah.
everything's so horrible, everything's so terrible, because it
Yeah.
can be a beautiful thing if nurtured the right way.
Absolutely.
So
Exactly. That part.
I feel like in my household, I'm still a bit of a disciplinarian and I want to create the structure and things like that. But I am more open to explaining more and to
Yeah.
sharing more and sitting down and let's saying, okay, let's have a conversation about this
Mm-hmm.
versus,
Yeah.
oh, just sit down somewhere, you know?
Yeah.
Because
Absolutely.
for a child, I'm always trying to see it from my perspective as a kid. Okay, well, what did that do to
Exactly.
me as a kid?
Exactly.
So when I'm
Exactly.
engaging with my girls, I kind of have to, question and reflect more and then consider the outcome when I'm dealing with them because I don't want them to grow up afraid or questioning who they are because my parents they had good intentions but maybe they just
Right.
didn't know.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Because most
And
most of the time, it's passed
it was
down.
what they were
So
taught. Yeah,
exactly.
yeah. It was
Exactly.
what
Yeah.
they were taught. Just sit down,
Absolutely.
do what I do as I say. This is the way this house is going to navigate, and you just follow the shit.
Right.
And I think it's two sides to it too. So I think it's like because if you questions in
It was
when you have a whole
disrespectful
bunch
to
of
question.
right, absolutely, it was big. It was like what you like, don't you be asking me no
Don't
question
ask
like
me why,
I
because
said I
I
said so.
said so.
I said so. What you mean? You know what I mean? But for me, like you said, I always try to put myself in their shoes. And
Be
I'm not like
empathetic.
in their shoes, but I try to understand from their perspective because questions are gonna do two things. Questions are gonna make a child curious. So they're going to go
Mhm.
out there and they're going to explore it all. They're going to try it. They're going to, I'm saying, without no type of guidance, without any type of understanding of what these questions may actually do because they're not being answered. The questions are not being answered.
Mhm.
So it's
Mhm.
either going to be they're going to go and they're going to try it on the okay, you're not going to tell me the answer, so I'm going to go about my business and
Sparks a
I'm gonna go
wildfire.
try it and I'm gonna be sneaky. Exactly. I'm gonna be sneaky and I'm gonna
Right.
be sneaking out and I'm gonna be doing this and I'm gonna just go try it on my
Because they're
own.
gonna get the
So you got
questions
that side of
answered, just
it.
not from you. Yeah.
They're going to get them
Right.
answered. Exactly. And then on the other side, which for me, it did kind of both things. So for the other side, it muted me.
Mm.
So when I was always told, stay in a child's place. Don't you ask me why? Because I said so. And if I say it, you just sit over there and do it, or you go over there and do it, and don't you ask no question, don't you do it? It's just,
Right.
it was very almost like cult like, you know what I mean?
And then
Like,
you
so
almost
it was
feel like you
very
Yeah.
have to
like you,
accept whatever
Right.
because of that.
exactly. So you have to
Yeah.
accept it and it is what it is. So it muted me. So a lot of things, so it muted me. So then when I tried to go out on my own to answer these questions, I was going through a lot, and I was enduring a lot, and I was faced with a lot, and I experienced a lot of trauma and a lot of things. But because I was muted on this side, I felt like after that happened, I had nobody, I couldn't go back and talk to nobody about it because now I'm muted too. So
Right.
I'm trying to figure it out. But at the same time, I feel like I can't talk to anybody about it because you told me to just be quiet and just sit down and just do what I'm told. So
Right.
when somebody over here is telling me to just do what I'm told, then I'm just going to do what I'm told and don't say nothing. And
In
don't you
front of
go
your
and tell
face
nobody.
is
Like,
when
you
I'm
know what
going
I
to
mean?
do it. When you
Exactly.
see it is when I'm going to
Exactly.
do it.
Exactly.
But it creates so many
Exactly.
underlying
Exactly.
issues. Yeah.
Exactly. Absolutely. Okay. Alicia, Coach K.
You know, see, I agree with you guys 100%. Like I said before, when a child hits a certain age and no longer a child, they're actually grown adults. So you're teaching your kids how to be adults, not children. So they have to be able to
Hmm.
ask you questions. You have to be able to listen to what they're saying, because again, they can
Yeah.
teach you some things that you don't know yourself. And on top of that, when it comes down to the outside world, the best teachers are the ones who raising you. And in my childhood, um, I had my parents, but then after a while, I didn't have both of them together. So it's a lot of
Hmm.
things I questioned that I couldn't question. Like I need to know more from my father, or I need to know more from my mother. But both of them had separate lives at that time, and they were busy. They worked. So that being
Hmm.
said, I couldn't really just go to them and ask them questions. I had to learn everything on my own, and it was just me and my
Hmm.
sister at the time. So we were basically home by ourselves, raising ourselves, but at the same time, it helped me become more mature as a young woman.
Mhm.
Made some
Yeah.
mistakes, but at the same time, it taught me a lot. So if
Hmm.
my kids come to me now about anything, I'm just being real with them. I'm just being honest with them and giving them the opportunity to know that at any time you can come to me, ask me a question. You can, and I'm gonna listen to you. You can, if, it don't matter what it is. If it's something relating to the hair up under your arms, ask me. Just
Right.
hide it from me, because I want to know, because that way I can help you and help you grow. Because I didn't have that 100%. And then
Mhm.
with because I have most of my family, they're Christian, very religious. And how they were, they Southern, down south, they just
Oh
really
yeah, yeah.
about
That
every
was my dad.
little thing. I'm just like, it was crazy. And then my father was a Methodist preacher. So it was like,
Mhm.
oh my God, it's like just
Mhm.
straight structure,
Yeah.
everything. So it's
Right.
like I understand that background, but also understand the background of just not really having that.
Hmm.
So it was a struggle. I'm not even gonna lie, it was a struggle because you have to figure out stuff and try to figure out who you are as a person.
Trying to
And
figure
that's
it out. Yeah.
I don't want my kids to try to figure out who we are. But I think by having both me and my husband together, they're able to
Hmm.
see both worlds and
Mhm.
understand who they are because they have both their parents together to
Yeah.
understand who they are. And it's hard when you don't have that. And
Yeah.
like I said, I take my hat off to a lot of single mother. She did by herself for a little while. She really did. And that she was a good mother. She's very nurturing. Don't get me wrong, but she had to work and she had to do what she had to do. And I understood that. At
Mhm.
that
Hmm.
age, I was like
And you
10.
can't get things from each. You have to, there's certain things you can get from your mom, certain
Absolutely.
things you get from dad. Like you can't get
Absolutely.
everything from
Right.
mom's gonna
Absolutely.
try. Best to believe we gonna try, but
Yeah.
it's just certain things you
It's
just
like
can't.
you
It
can't get
has to
the
come from dad.
mom.
Yeah.
That's the
Yeah.
emotional portion of that. That's the nurturing, and that's the one that's teaching how to be organized and everything. The father's the extra one that can teach you to be more logical, right decisions, and make sure you're not, you see something and you like prepare you for battle, basically. So, but
Yeah.
you don't have both of them. It's kind of like it's a struggle. It is. It can be really. It can really be a struggle, and sometimes some kids are not able to have that. They only have one,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
it sucks, but it happens. It
Yeah.
happens.
And I
Yep,
grew up.
like
I
my background. Sorry.
you're good. I grew up. I didn't have. So mine was kind of on both sides. Um, my biological father left when I was 1 or 2, but I don't even ever remember him being there. Like I never saw a picture of him
Mhm.
until I was in my 30s.
Wow.
Wow.
Um, but I did have a stepdad up until I was 9 or 10. But him and my mom were having their marital issues, so it was pretty much like I had my stepdad. He was there, but he was military, so he worked all the time, and then my mom worked all the time. So me and my sister pretty much raised
Raise
ourselves.
yourself.
We're at home
Mhm.
5 and 6 years old by ourselves. Like
Wow.
we knew how to cook and we knew how to wash our own clothes and we knew how to clean the house at
Wow.
5 and 6 years old, running the household
Wow.
by ourselves. And then when my mom and my stepdad separated or divorced, now I'm in a single mom household. And of course, my mom still has to work all the time. So she's always gone. So we still raising ourselves. And then we grew up in church, very, very, very heavy. The same as you guys, but ours was Kojic, non-denominational, apostolic. So we couldn't wear earrings, we couldn't wear pants, we couldn't
Right. That was
like
me.
movies like that. Like that
Mhm.
just all of it was a sin. You're going to hell for all of it if you do it. Like we couldn't wear makeup
Yeah.
and stuff. So like it was I got kind of both sides of it, but it all felt broken to me. But
Mhm.
in me and my sister raising ourselves, even though we raised ourselves and we were pretty much taking care of each other, when I got older and I got when I went to college, like
Mhm.
I didn't know anything
Mm.
because I didn't have anybody teaching me anything. Like
Right.
Mhm.
most
Right.
responsibility my mom put on my sister because she's older. She's only a year older though, so I mean that's just weird. But most of the responsibility she taught her how to pay the bills. When my mom was at work, my sister was the one that got a call to pay the bills and stuff like that. So I didn't know any of that.
Mm.
So when I
Wow.
got out on my own and got in college, I'm trying to figure
We gonna figure it out.
I'm trying to figure
Mhm.
Right.
out how to be an adult.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's crazy because I went straight from high school pretty much to being married and having kids, trying to figure it out on my own.
Mm.
But now you got kids, it's like you don't really have time to figure it out. You don't really have time
Yeah.
Right.
how to be an
Yeah.
adult. Like I'm in that stage now at 38 years old, figuring out how to be an adult because it's the first time I've been on my
By
own by
yourself.
myself as an
Mhm.
adult,
Yeah.
learning
Yeah.
things, learning how to pay bills, learning how to set up accounts to do this and do blah blah blah. Like
Wow.
I'm learning that now. So I've had the single parent household. I've had both of my parents. I've had neither one of them there. So
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
kind of understand all sides of it. But I definitely think it plays a huge role in how I parent my kids because I don't want them to experience any of that. I
Right.
want
Yeah.
to experience the good side of it. I don't want them to have to be in their life where I am now.
Right. Right.
Right.
So
Big
I
facts. Yeah.
do as much as I can to give them all the insight that I have learned. I tell Jordan all the time, like you are a much better person than I was at your age.
At that age.
Far as your logical thinking and the way you think of things, like
Yeah.
we've had conversations about her and her friend, and she's like stuff that she thinks about now. Like my friend is in a situation and she's with this guy and he blah blah blah, like their whole situation, but she tells me how she feels about it or how she reacts or responds to it or how she tries to help coach her friends in
That
situations.
maturity.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she's way more mature at her age than I ever was. At her
Mhm.
age, I'm like, I'm
Right.
silent. I'm not speaking on anything. Like with you, I'm
Right.
I was mute. I didn't talk. I didn't.
Yeah.
I'm still learning how to talk to people now. So
Right.
Mhm.
and she's very vocal and she will speak her mind and it's a big difference. Big
Right.
difference how I grew up. So yeah.
But
Do
I
you
think that
feel?
speaks. Oh, go
Mhm.
ahead, Devin.
No, no, go ahead.
I think that speaks to the difference between being the trainer and being the lecturer. Because you know how the
Mhm.
Bible says, and it's a simple scripture about how you train up a child in the way they should go. When they're older, they won't
Right,
depart. And
Yeah.
I
right,
think a lot of times when our parents heard they thought, oh, I just gotta tell
right,
them according to what the
right,
Bible says, or just tell them. But a
right,
lecturer, they just tell you. They just
Right.
inform
right.
you of the information. But when you're training somebody, you really think about it.
Exactly.
You're telling them, but you're
Yeah,
also showing them, you're
exactly.
demonstrating, you're
Exactly.
engaging with them, you're giving them activities to practice what you taught and apply what you taught. You're walking with
Exactly.
them in the process. And
Right.
I think we
Exactly.
miss that little detail. We can't lecture
Exactly.
and just
Yeah.
tell or inform, but we have to show them and
Absolutely.
be
Ex-
with them in the process, coach them along. They might not get it right the first time, but baby, you let's keep practicing. You'll get better at it.
exactly.
Because we
Exactly.
see the effects of that fear. And you said being mute, you said being oblivious and not knowing,
Yeah.
and we feel lost because we were just told.
Right.
So as parents, like it's so
Exactly.
very important that we really hone in on that training piece and not just telling
Hmm.
because I said so, because that
Mhm.
Right.
doesn't benefit our kids
Exactly.
in the long run. They
Not at
have
all.
nothing to hold
Exactly.
true to. I didn't have
Exactly.
anything to hold
Exactly.
true to. And I was raised in the church. And I knew, God
Exactly.
is my savior. God is, he's my Lord. But like really walking through the trenches and really having those encounters and knowing who God was, I got that as I got older. Because
Yeah.
all I knew
Exactly.
was
I
the
said the same
system of
thing.
church.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or
Hmm.
the system
Hmm.
of I'm a child or the relationship between child and parent. But really understanding how to navigate through life and working the thing that they told me about,
Hmm.
we
Hmm.
didn't
Right.
learn that until
Exactly.
later, until we really got that
Exactly.
firsthand experience with it.
Right.
So
Exactly.
it's not just
Exactly.
telling. You gotta show me. And it
Right.
give me
Yeah,
time to
absolutely.
practice it.
Exactly, exactly. And I think that's why, and I think it's very important because a lot of people like look down on what they say modern day parenting. A lot of people may say there's a we're babies having babies, or we're not as
Because we're not doing it
experienced or
their
knowledgeable.
way.
Exactly,
Exactly.
exactly. We're not doing it their way, but I really commend mothers like us who are not only trying to figure it out for ourselves, but we're trying
True.
to figure it out for right.
Right.
We're trying to figure it out for them so that way they don't have to go through the things that we
Right.
had to
Mm-hmm.
go through. That they're not at 30, 35, 40 years old trying to figure it out, but that they know how to figure it out when it happens, no matter what age they are. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Right.
And I think it's important to, not look down on it, but actually just learn. Like it's a learning thing. I'm not saying that everything that, everyone before us, so everyone who's older than us, everything they said was wrong,
No.
but at the same time, I think it's a learning thing. Like you have to learn. I'm taking what I can take and learning from them, but actually, you can learn a little bit from me too. I may be younger than you, but you can learn a little bit. Like you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like because if it's done this way, especially with the whole church thing, like because I was raised Kojic too, very very strict, and I really thought that that's how it was. It
Right.
wasn't until I got older to where I started to read the Bible for myself. I
Mm-hmm.
started to have community, and I'm starting to talk with sisters like you guys, and I'm starting to actually walk in it myself to where I'm really saying to myself, so God still loves me if I wear earrings. What is you
Right.
talking about?
Right.
Like, you know what
Right.
I mean? Like, it's like, what are you saying? Like, I can still go to heaven if I wear pants. Like, you know what I mean? Like, so it really hurts it's gonna hurt the generation. And let me tell you, the generations that's coming up after us, it's a whole nother
So whole different
it's a,
breed.
Because they
it's
have
a
so much
whole nother
access.
Yeah, whole different breed.
Absolutely. Me and T were just saying the same thing. Like they have all this technology, they have so much access to, to all these different things, AI, like all this different stuff. Like have all
Right.
this access. Like what? Like, oh, that's what you said. I'm gonna go look it up. I'm gonna ask AI or I'm gonna do
Mhm.
whatever the case may be. So you better be on your P's and Q's. You better. And so the last thing that I want to kind of touch on is it's because all of our parenting and our raising dynamics were different. Like Martha, you had both mom and dad the whole time in your
Yes.
life, and then um Coach K, you had both, but then separate, but then one. And then same thing with Alicia, you had both, then just the one, then two, and then just the one. I had two, then none. Um, and then so how is your marriage? How is your marriage, or was your marriage, um, or dating life, or however, how was it after seeing what you saw growing up? Like, how you talk to your husband, how you respond to your husband? Should you do everything that he says? Should you move when he say move? Should you know, like, is it
Oh,
like
Lordy, Lordy, Lordy.
should you that won't direct it at you, Martha, even though you the one that left us, but that won't direct it at you. I'm just saying, like, should
Oh, Lord.
you, like, so, like, how is your marriage or dating or whatever? How is that with what you've seen or didn't see?
For me, I was raised in a two-parent household. My parents have been married for by now 40 years. It's been a long time since
Oh,
they've been
wow.
married, probably over 40 years. But it taught me about covenant and staying together. Um,
Mm-hmm.
I don't foresee, my marriage ending because that's not what I saw.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, also connecting it to the Bible as well and the importance and the sanctity of marriage. But it also helped me with learning to be a submissive wife. I will say that that is something, if I'm
Mhm.
being honest, that I am still working on. And of course, we submit one to the other. So
Exactly.
but it taught me about the beauty in trying to practice unity, especially in front of our kids, because it can have an impact on them. But from seeing a marriage or relationship work for all those years, it makes me want to stay in times when I'm questioning, like, should I stay? But because I
Yeah.
saw the longevity, it provided that example for me. Now, in terms of how I speak to my husband, my mom was extremely submissive, but I believe to some degree, my dad, he was, like I said, he did the best he could, but he was very strict and very stern, very dominant in the household. And it was so much so to where there were times where I feel like my mom didn't really or fully have a voice. So
Mm,
it made me growing up have that in my mind where I'm going to advocate for myself. And I'm
mm,
not going to let the man just completely walk all over me and me not question what's
yeah.
happening and why we're doing this. It
Yeah.
created more of a desire for there to be a partnership. We're going to come together. We're going to seek God about
Absolutely.
this. Iron is going to sharpen iron, not just telling me that it's one way and me just going along with it, but we're going to work together to come to a mutual understanding and reach a resolve. So
Absolutely.
yes, I feel like it definitely benefited me overall, seeing the
Hmm.
two come together as one. Now, of course, there were some challenges and things that could have been improved upon, but
Hmm.
it did create that desire and still creates that desire to want to stay.
Well, let me just, before the next person go, because submissive is a curse word. You ain't supposed to say submissive, and you ain't supposed to be submissive.
According to who?
So no, I'm
Mhm.
just to because no, listen, because the what I'm saying is that, like, because I think what I want you to do is I want you to elaborate, and then everybody can have their say too, because now I'm adding a second question. I'm sorry. But because submissive, when you say submissive, not everybody understands really what submissive is.
Mhm.
So a lot of people and a lot of women, a lot of men, especially the younger generations,
Mhm.
because the older generations, like your mom and dad, when it came to submissive, they knew it one way, and that's what it was, and that's what they did. Where the younger generations, when you say submissive, the reason why I joke and say that's a curse word is because women and men feel like, well, on the women's side, they feel like submissive. I'm not submitting to him. He ain't gonna be telling me what to do, and I ain't gonna be. They feel like being
Right.
submissive means that they're not allowed to have a voice, that they're not allowed to have a vision for themselves, that they're not allowed to, to speak up and have an opinion. They feel like it's supposed to be just do what I say and as I say it. You know what I mean?
Right.
And then on the men's side, sometimes men feel that way. No, the Bible says you're supposed to be submissive to me. So I said, this is what we're going to do, and this is what we're going to do. I don't care what you said, and I don't care if the Lord came to you, and I don't care that, you know what I mean? So before we move on, I want to just elaborate a little bit on you all's take on submissive, so that way everyone and the women who are watching this, they understand that that's not what submissive is.
Right.
That's not,
Right.
it's not, you have a voice. You know what I mean? That's why God gave you the voice. So yeah,
Right.
elaborate on that.
So submissive, when you submit, many people often think that it's a form of control, but it's more so
Right.
like a yielding. I'm laying down my will for us,
Mm-hmm.
for the
Mm-hmm.
overall good of this relationship, the overall good of this organization, or whatever it is that you're submitting to.
Right.
And it doesn't just say wives submit to husbands, it's you submit one to the
Exactly.
other. So we're both having
Exactly.
to lay it down for the sake of
Mm-hmm.
us, or for the sake of the
Mm-hmm.
oneness or the unity or our covenant.
Exactly.
But growing up, just speaking firsthand, submissive for my mom was you just relinquish all control, and you
Exactly.
just you don't have ideas, you don't have a
Yeah.
perspective, and
Yeah.
that was the wrong way of being
Yeah.
taught submission. But in terms
Absolutely.
of our house, it's submit one to the other. We're laying it down. We're willing to
Absolutely.
compromise
Mm-hmm.
for, okay, what's the best idea, or what's the best solution for this particular problem or challenge, or whatever it is that we're faced with. We're going to work together in this. We're going to partner with each other as we partner with God to reach the necessary resolve for our family. That's how I see submission.
And I think
It's
that's how you
definitely
get to
not
your greatest potential too, as a
right.
couple and as a family.
Right.
Yeah.
Because my idea could be better. But if I'm submitting to you, if I'm just
Exactly.
laying down my will
Exactly.
and, being silent in that moment, we won't reach the best or the optimal idea because
Exactly.
I'm just going based on what
Mhm.
you said.
I think my house is the exact same way. But we both understand that we have different roles in this household.
Mhm.
Um, I'm a woman, so I'm more nurturing, more orderly, more hands-on with the children, of course. And my husband, he's logic, so he's a teacher. So he
Mhm.
comes and teaches us
Mhm.
everything we need to know regarding energy or whatever the topic may be. So he's the logic in this household. So we have different roles, and we do balance them out so that we can teach our kids how to balance them out. Because I think all kids have to be able to balance their orderly side and their logical side in order to
Mhm.
survive outside this world. Because you are
Yeah.
only one. Like if you're all logical, you just want to teach everybody everything and don't want to listen to them.
Right. Right.
Like
Right.
you can't get nowhere if you are nurturing and quiet
Exactly.
and like timid, you can't get nowhere either. It's just you one sided. So you have to have
Exactly.
both. You have to balance both the logic and the order out in the household. And yeah,
Yeah.
a lot of women have a tendency to think that being submissive means cooking, cleaning, and a man telling you what to do, and it's
Being
not.
domestic.
Yeah, it's not.
It's not.
Yeah, that's not.
That's commercial.
Yeah.
That's delusional.
Yeah.
And that's for
Yeah.
delusional people.
Right.
Because
Yeah.
I don't think that people understand that. Excuse me, I got my throat's all messed up. I don't think that people comprehend, men and women comprehend that TV, social media, all that is acting. They put it out there for people to actually uh, entertain them with it, but then people take it on as their real lives, and
Right.
Yeah.
it's sad because when you are not raised properly or you don't have that proper guidance, I'm gonna say that proper guidance as a
Mhm.
child growing into an adult, that is your teacher.
Mhm.
So you're either going to be very logic and chaotic, or you're going to be very nurturing and timid, or you're going to be both but in a chaotic way.
Yeah.
So it's very important that, as the mother and the father at home, you have to teach that balance to submit to each other, but understand that there are different roles when it comes
Mhm.
down to the father and the
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I think my uh, in my household or back then, um, we were raised under the submission. The woman submits, the man is the head, and so that played a huge role uh, in my marriage because religiously, I wanted to do the right thing by God and the Bible. So
Mhm.
I'm 100% submissive, and my husband is 100% the dominant.
Yeah.
And there was no balance. It wasn't like rule with an iron fist, but it was like
Mhm.
we trying to be nice. Um, we painted
Keep
a
it real.
we painted a very nice picture of there being balance, but
Mhm.
behind closed doors, it was do what I say, and
Mm.
that's it. It was the if you don't do what I say, or so he would say things like, I'm just giving a suggestion. I'm just giving you suggestions. But if I don't take your suggestions, they
It's
lead
a
to a
problem.
or argument.
Mhm.
Or
Yeah.
like now I'm disrespecting you because I didn't take your suggestion. So I
Yeah.
might
Mhm.
just do what you say. But then
Yeah.
you say you don't want to be controlling and you want
Controlling.
to be that way, but that's what it is. And he grew up in a super religious household as well, but he comes from a broken household as well. But his dad was the iron fist
Yeah.
person, and his
Yeah.
Mhm.
mom pretty much did what his dad was supposed to say, and so that's what he saw. And in my household, although with me growing up, although my stepdad wasn't ruling with an iron fist, my mom was just she was submissive on the religious side too. She had a say so, but like it was you do everything for your husband, you do everything to please your husband. So I have that, seeing that, and then reading the Bible and misunderstanding the Bible because that's
Yeah.
they showed it to me in church all the time. I'm
Mhm.
like, if I don't um, keep peace in my household, now I'm not being a virtuous woman. So, and it was
Mhm.
it was uh, really heavy on my heart for me to be the virtuous wife, like the
Yeah.
Yeah.
definition of the
Yeah.
virtuous wife.
Right.
So I'm trying to meet that, and it's like it's impossible to do that. Like,
Yeah.
because I did it to a detriment of myself because now it's like I have no identity. I'm
Yeah.
Jay's wife, and that's how everybody knows me. Nobody knows Alicia. Nobody knows.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, I'm his wife, and that's it. Um, and so I had no voice. If
Yeah.
you know, if I spoke about something, it was like I gave him the respect of allowing him to overrule what I say
Mhm.
or how I feel about things, and it became a habit.
Mm.
Mhm.
So I
Yeah.
that just became our whole marriage. It's what you want, and then every now and then we'll sprinkle a little bit of what I want in there, just so we can say, "Well, we did what you wanted then, or we did what you wanted then."
Right. Right.
It wasn't a real honest balance of submit yourself one to another.
Right.
Yeah.
So um, it it plays a major role in how I am now. When I left, I was like, well, I haven't had a voice for 20 something years. I'm
Right.
about to say everything to
I'm about to
everybody.
say everything. You got it, you get it, you get a piece of it, you get a piece of it.
That's
and
funny.
and so I'm learning now to reel that back in. Uh,
Yeah.
my best friend now tells me like, "Girl, you savage," because and I'm like,
You're
I'm
ruthless.
really not. But I had to create that persona
Yeah.
to protect myself from my husband, and
Yeah.
so I'm trying to learn the balance of that now, of having a voice, but knowing when to speak and when not to speak, as opposed to before in my marriage, I never spoke.
You never spoke.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I never spoke about anything.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I definitely think there should be we submit to each other. I do believe that there are roles, so to speak, but
I
not.
agree. Yeah.
I think that it has to be adjusted to every couple. Um,
Right.
you do what works for
Right.
you guys,
Yeah.
um, but at the same time, don't lose yourself in that. Like
Absolutely.
both parties have to maintain their own identity and whatever works for you guys.
Mhm. And something that's so profound that you said several times is identity, because I think
Mhm.
what happens is that with that word submission, you can lose who you are. So if you are the type where, you're always you're submitting to what we misunderstand it, like whatever he says, that's what it is. Whatever
Mhm.
it is, whatever it just happens, that's just what it is. Like that's what he said. Nope, I'm not saying nothing. I have no ideas. I'm not saying my opinion, nothing like that. How do you as a woman know who you are, or know if your ideas are good ideas? How do you know if you can do this thing if you don't try? How do you know like who you really are if you just keep everything to yourself
Mm,
and you just continue to be mute? Like, I'm not learning who I am. I'm not learning what I'm capable of. I'm not
right.
learning, how strong I am. I'm not learning these things because I'm being muted. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm just not, I'm not knowing this. So I
Yeah,
think so identity is a big part in it. But then at the same time, when you do speak up, when you do show that you have ideas and that your ideas actually work, and not saying that they're all going to work. I may have some, ideas. Okay, yeah, maybe, babe, you was right on that one. Maybe I should have kept that one to myself. You was right. You know what I mean? But at the
Mhm.
same time, at least you're learning. Okay, this worked, this didn't work. Okay, when I approached it this way, it worked. But when I did it this way, it didn't work. You're learning yourself and you're learning how to navigate through life in different situations because you're speaking up.
Right.
I don't think that you should be very like overpowering with it. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Come
Right.
together. You know what I'm saying? Because sometimes the way that we were raised, and because that's how I was, because I was muted for so long, my husband tell you quick, like, if
You
I
ain't about to
think it, I'm
tell
gonna
me.
say it. I'm what?
Yeah.
I'm gonna say what I got to say, and it is gonna be what it is. You know what I mean? And that's because, like Alicia said, like I was muted. I felt like I was muted growing up, not necessarily in my marriage, but growing up, I felt like I was muted. So I felt like now I'm an adult. I can say what I want to say and not get in trouble. And I ain't got nobody telling me that I got to just sit down and be quiet. So I'm gonna say it, and ain't nothing that you can
Right.
do about it. You know what I mean? So I think it's important to have that balance, though. Go ahead, Coach A.
I also want to say that if you have the right partner, they can bring that out of you as well.
Mhm.
Absolutely.
I was
Yeah.
very quiet. I was a quiet person, introvert, as you say.
mhm,
And my husband is an extrovert. He
Mhm.
talks. I didn't.
Yeah.
So he was like, well, he always ask me, what do you think? Or do you have any questions? And don't be afraid to ask me anything. And like, he'll like nudge me to talk more and be more
Mhm.
myself and be more comfortable. Cause I was always like, at one point, because of the things I went through in my life, I actually kind of shut down, closed myself in. So, but he was the one that brought
Mhm.
that out of me. So I think it all depends on not just your partner, but the right people you surround yourself with that actually can help you in that area so you won't be so, I say,
Absolutely.
so timid and so submissive to where you don't have an identity. You're
Right.
always
Absolutely.
just thinking like you're closed in, you're introvert, you want to be to yourself, don't want to express your feelings and everything. It all depends on who you surround yourself with. You know, it don't have to
Yeah.
be a partner, but it could be
Absolutely.
a best friend, it could be a sister, it could be your mother sometimes, but it all depends on who, you know, your upbringing and also who you surround yourself with.
Yeah,
So
for sure.
I agree.
Absolutely.
I also think it's important that we provide the disclaimer that the husband is the head of the wife. We're not saying
Right.
submission
Absolutely.
equates to we're
Absolutely.
just equal and,
Absolutely.
he's not above or, he's not the priest of the household. Because, of course, as
Absolutely.
Ephesians says, the husband is the head of the wife as
Right.
Christ is the head of the church. But we
Right.
also have to consider the fact that the husband is to love the wife
mm-hmm.
just like Christ loved the church and laid down his
Exactly.
life. So there's a
Right.
Exactly.
balance in that. It's not saying that
Absolutely.
the husband has to be a tyrant or a dictator,
Exactly.
but he is the priest. He's the one that's going to go to God. He's the one that's held at a higher esteem and has a
Mhm.
heavier responsibility for the household. But it doesn't mean that because I'm the head, you have to do and listen to every
Exactly.
single thing. But
Right.
there should be a level of honor and respect for him. But we
Mm-hmm.
should be able to come to the table together to
Absolutely.
do what's best for our family. So
Mm-hmm.
I don't want anybody to perceive it as we're saying, oh no, the husband's not the
Right.
head. No, he's the
Exactly.
head,
He's the head. Right.
but we are
Right.
the helpmeet,
Yep.
and we
Right.
can provide
Right.
insight and still have identity. Like Coach
Exactly.
Kate said, when it's done with the right partner and if it's
Exactly.
nurtured the right way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. Okay, so we've talked about parenting, we've talked about being a mother, we've talked about being a wife, we've talked about, our childhood, we've talked about a lot of different things that women go through on a day-to-day basis. So I want each of you to talk to the women who are watching, and I want each of you to have time to just talk to that young girl or that young woman about anything that we have, anything that the Lord lays on your heart, to just speak life into that woman, so that way she knows and she's encouraged that it is okay, that she can live to fight another day, that she shall live and she shall not die, that that better is coming. Whatever the Lord just lays on your heart, to just speak life into that woman that's watching. So yeah, so we'll start with Martha been going first the whole time, so we'll start with we'll start with Martha.
I would just encourage whoever's listening just to remember that all things work together for the good of those who love the Lord and are called according to his purpose. So whether it is through motherhood or if you're dealing with various relationships, broken relationships, if you're dealing with obstacles even in your childhood, know that it's going to work out in the end for your good, and it's going to
Yeah,
work out in the end for God's glory. We all go through different seasons. Life has different ebbs and flows, and those seasons are meant to grow us. They're meant to stretch us. They're meant to reveal who we are, to give us clarity about our identity. But just know that in this walk of life that you are not alone. Even if it
yeah,
seems like you're lonely, God is always with you. And with his
absolutely,
providence, he is always working behind the scenes.
absolutely,
So as you go throughout life and you're questioning where you are, if he sees you, if he hears you, he is always there. And although your situation may seem to be one that is frustrating or confusing, and it may seem like God is absent, he is right beside you working. And as we see his work unfold, the masterpiece that he is creating in your life is going to be far greater than any trouble or
absolutely,
obstacle
yes,
that you're dealing with right now. Even in our motherhood journey, I do want to say that it is very important that we consider the fact that we're all learning, we're all growing. Nobody has
exactly,
arrived. As we get older, there's always so much more for us to learn and to develop in. So I don't want you to think, oh, well, these moms have to be better than I am, or like we're in a rat race or a competition with each
It's
other.
not a competition,
No, you
right?
take your journey as it is, and you understand that your steps are ordered, they're being ordered, and just trust God all the way, and he will work it out. He will work out whatever you're faced with for the good. And
Absolutely, absolutely.
even, and I love that even in this talk we share the multi facets of motherhood and being a woman, being a wife, and just all the different aspects. And I hope that something that we shared is going to give you insight and benefit you, but also to allow you to see yourself in us,
Yeah,
in our imperfections,
absolutely.
and in our chaos, these beautiful stories
Yes,
that are being developed in us. We hope that they're a blessing to your life, but just know that God, He sees you, He knows you, He loves you, and He's
absolutely.
walking right beside you. He is not going to let you fail. Even if it seems like you are in a situation that has failed or you're dealing with failure, in
Yeah,
the end, once it unfolds, you'll see that it was not failure, but it was a blessing. It was a stepping stone.
yes,
It was an area for growth. So I just hope
absolutely.
that, what we said blesses your life and, gives you insight and encourages you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you. Absolutely. All right, Coach K.
And it's definitely that. It's cool. But I want to say, I think young women need to just pick up your mirror and reflect and be honest with yourself.
Mm,
Um,
yeah.
don't allow your emotions to um, control your mindset, control how you do things in your life. Allow yourself the room to be who you are and true to who you are, no matter what people may say about you or to you.
Yes.
I
Yes.
also want to say that allow yourself to be free spirited in a way to where you could just do you, no
Yeah.
Yeah.
matter what. Um, and like I said before, take that time to yourself. Love yourself. I don't care if you're reading a book or just go outside, walking in your yard barefoot. Do something that you like to do and continue to grow and elevate in your own way. And if you are in a relationship or if you're not in a relationship, you still have to be able to be true to yourself and love
Absolutely.
yourself. And that way, that love that you show yourself, you'll be able to spread it to your partner or your children.
Yeah.
That's very important. But just be honest with yourself and keep growing mentally, emotionally, and don't be one sided. Women, please stop being one sided. We have to stop being in a state of mind of this delusional mindset of we are the women. It's men out there too that actually need your help. That will
Yeah.
help that you can help grow and be a better partner to another woman or even to yourself. You just have to be real with yourself and understand that it's not just about the woman, it's about the man and the woman, you know,
Yeah.
and grow from that.
Absolutely. Thank you. Absolutely. All right, Miss Alicia.
Um, I would say, um, just as talking to myself, um, I would say give yourself grace.
Yeah.
Um, it's okay to be selfish sometimes, in a
Mm,
sense of you have to fill your own cup before you can pour out to anybody else.
Mhm.
yeah.
You have to be mentally healthy and physically healthy in order for you to be able to give all of that to somebody else. So um, definitely take the time to do the self work and the self healing and reflect on you and figure out yourself and who you are. Um,
Mhm.
and I would say um, it's okay to not be okay.
Mhm.
Yes.
Beautiful things come out of that eventually. The
They
Absolutely.
do.
sun, the
Absolutely.
sun will shine one day again. It has to. It has no choice because that's what it's supposed to do. So, um, hang in there until the sun comes up.
Absolutely. Yes. Thank you. That was beautiful too. Yes.
Mhm.
Everything that y'all said was amazing and beautiful. The only thing that I'm going to piggyback off and say is that allow yourself to be vulnerable. You
Mhm.
don't have to be strong all the time. We're naturally strong, mentally, spiritually, emotionally. We're built for this. We're built to be able to withstand. That's how God created us, because He knew that that's what the man was going to need, and He knew that's what the world was going to need. They were going to
Right.
need women who were going to be strong in all of those areas. But at the same time, allow yourself to be vulnerable. Don't think that you have to be strong. There are going to be times where you're not going to know what to do. You're not going to have the answer. You're not going to know what's going to be coming next. You're not going to understand why things are happening or what's going to come next. But that's okay. That's okay.
Mhm.
The biggest thing is that you just keep going and you don't stop and you don't quit. It's okay. Okay. And that's all I'm going to say. Y'all, I appreciate y'all. You ladies that's on here, y'all keep queening it. Cause we just out here winging it and we
Right.
gonna make it. We gonna make it through. This was beautiful. This was lovely. I do appreciate y'all for coming on and just
Thanks for
chatting
having us.
Yeah,
catching
thank you for
catching
listening.
up. I really appreciate it. I loved it. So this was amazing. I just want to thank you ladies so much for coming on and spending some time with me. I miss all of y'all so much. So this was very, very like just heartwarming warming for me. Like, because I really, really miss y'all. Like, you really have no idea. Like, I don't have no friends here. Like, I don't even know if I should say that, but so I really miss y'all. So I really thank y'all for coming on. Now I just want to give y'all the opportunity now to plug and let the people know where they can follow you, how they can support, what you got going on. And Martha, we'll start with you.
Hi, guys. So I am Martha Dove, and I'm an educator slash influencer and content creator. I'm a mom of 5 girls, and we focus on family, faith, and fashion, as well as inspiration. You can follow me on IG at Martha Dove. On TikTok, I am Martha Dove. And on YouTube, you can follow me at Gordon and Martha Dove, also known as the Dove's Nest. We would love for you to follow our journey and become a part of the family.
Yes.
So thank you so much. Hope you enjoyed this episode.
Hello, I'm Coach K, aka Miss Brown C. I'm a wife and mom of 4. You can follow me on Facebook and Instagram. And I have some projects coming soon, so stay tuned. And Dee, thank you for having me here. I really, really enjoyed the time with you guys.
Yay.
Hi, I'm Alicia. I am a mom of 5. I currently have a lot going on right now. Still trying to figure out my life and what that entails. But I did start a business, an event planning business with my best friend. It is called Not Your Average House Party. So you guys can follow us on TikTok and Instagram. For that, if you are in the DMV area and you need us to plan a party for you, we're your girls. So
Yes.
yeah, look us up. And thank you, Dee, for having me. And I'm so appreciative to have been a part of this. It was very therapeutic. So thank you guys.
Yeah.